Nikki Talks Food. Today we're going to fillet a fish. We're gonna take out all the anxiety you've ever had about cutting your own fish. We're gonna cut up this beautiful red snapper and we're gonna make a tasty Beurre Blanc sauce right in a pan. So let's talk about food. Okay, so there's two types of fish we wanna look out for. There are round fish and there are flat fish. Round fish notably have a round body, whereas flat fish you can tell by the fact that they have two eyes on one side of their head, and they're usually bottom dwellers. They're usually very, very flat, like flounder or sole. They're both cut in sort of the same way, and if you really master cutting a round fish and a flat fish, you can probably cut any fish. When we purchase our fish, we want to look for the smell of the ocean. It should not be fishy. We want to look for clear eyes, and we also want to look for bouncy skin. Other than that, those are your big telltale signs of whether or not your fish is fresh. So this guy is a red snapper, and we're gonna do a couple things to get started. I usually use kitchen shears or chicken shears, and I cut off these barbs, you know, this really pokey spine here. So we're just gonna take our shears and we're gonna cut off. We can also cut off the dorsal fins just to get them out of the way. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is actually to start filleting the fish. So we can take our finger and we can feel where the head, the fish head, actually meets the body. And right where it meets, that's where it starts to kind of be bouncy. You can feel between the hard, head and the bouncy flesh. You want to get in between there so we don't have any waste. So we're just gonna go ahead and make a score. Then we're gonna take our knife, we're gonna insert it right along the backbone, and we're gonna kind of hear and feel our knife scraping along that backbone. And one side usually comes off easier than the other. It's not you, it's just the way it is. It's the way the fish is made. If you're a righty or a lefty, one side's gonna be easier for you, the other side's gonna suck. And then we just go and we can actually hear, you can actually hear the blade of the knife scrape along and liberate that fillet. Here, right here is where the belly, the ribs are. We're gonna lose that anyway, so I'm not super duper fussed about struggling with it too much. There's not very much meat there. That's okay. And there is our snapper fillet on one side. Now we're gonna do the other side, and we're gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna go along where the head meets the actual body meets the head, and we're gonna go along and cut right along the backbone. There is our other fillet, and now we're gonna clean it up. The carcass, you can do whatever you want. Some people compost it and make fertilizer out of it. You can cook it. If you take out the eyes, you can cook it for stock. But for me, I'm gonna chuck it. So the bones run like eyebrow hairs, I say. You know, it's just like plucking eyebrows. If you feel along the fillet, they go only one way. So I can feel one right here, but if you run your finger along, you'll feel some bones that are left over. So we're gonna go ahead and use our fish tweezers, and you pluck these guys just like eyebrows. Benefits to cutting your own fish in a dystopian future town: you have a skill. All right, so now we're gonna cook our fish, and I'm gonna add clarified butter, a couple of teaspoons. The number one thing that people don't do right when they're making fish, and it's the reason why it sticks to the pan, is you have to dry the fish off, okay? Also, you need a very hot pan. If you can see it, my pan is smoking right now. So we want it really hot. So we're gonna dry our fish off so it's nice and kind of like has like a tacky texture to it. And we're gonna season it with a little salt and pepper. Or you can use Chef Nikki's Pro Seasoning, coming to you soon. And we're gonna put this in the pan presentation side down, so that will be the fleshy side. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it right in the pan, and we should hear it sizzle. The internal cooking temperature of fish is 145 degrees. If you get your hands on a good kitchen thermometer, you won't have to overcook your fish ever again. So if you cook it to 145 degrees, it's done. Also, another trick is you can use a toothpick, and if you can slide it through the fish and it doesn't kind of hang up, if it slides through easily, it's usually done. Okay, so now I'm gonna do my toothpick trick. Perfectly done. So now I can lift this fish out of the pan and notice that it does not stick at all. Okay, so I'm gonna make my Beurre Blanc sauce now. So I'm gonna put a couple more teaspoons of clarified butter. And I'm gonna put about a cup of shallots. Shallots are more complex than a regular old onion. They have a ton of sugar in them, so they're sweet. They are very, very savory, and they kind of have a garlicky taste to them. So spring for the shallots when you're making a really nice sauce. Next, I'm gonna add a cup of white wine. And we're gonna cook that white wine and the shallots down to a syrup. Now that we have this cooked down to a syrup, we're gonna add a cup of cream, and we're gonna reduce that about halfway to what we call nappe. Okay, so we've cooked this cream sauce down to a nappe, and that's when you can coat the back of a spoon and drag your finger and make a line, and that is nappe. About a half a lemon for acid. Now comes the butter, the beurre part. We can't do it over direct heat. We have to kind of slowly add our butter, so we're gonna use ice cold butter. And this is called Monty au Beurre. It translates to mounted with butter. And what that is we are gonna finish our sauce with butter, and if we cook it at too high of a temperature, the butter will break out and you'll have an oil slick. It's called broken. Your sauce will break. But if you turn the heat off, which was what we've done here, is we've turned the heat totally off, and we're letting the sauce kind of cool just a little bit. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the butter in little chunk by little chunk, and it's just gonna kind of melt in because we don't want the butter to separate and cause breakage. So this is called Monty au Beurre, mounted with butter. Classically, all of these shallots would be, strained out, but this is America, okay? We don't want, we like chunks. Little Italian confetti. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like my show, please hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the little bell, leave a comment down below, and always leave a thumbs up. I want to know what you want to learn next. Let's talk food. Don't forget, my recipes are on chefnikki.net.